Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus podcast. This is another one of our great interviews we have for you today. I've got the band The Sky Catching Fire on the line here. They are a band from Southern California, and they've got an EP coming out soon. Probably by the time this comes out, it will be out, and you'll be able to listen to it. In the meantime, you can find them on Reverb Nation, Bandcamp, all the Facebook, Twitter, all over the place. We're going to get to them in 1 second. First, I would like to thank our sponsors. I'd like to thank Positively Pittsburgh Live Magazine, pplmag.com. That's Pittsburgh's first internet radio, TV network, online community, and business directory. If you've got a business or if you're looking to hire some people to do some services for you, if you're looking for a place to market yourself, PPL Mag is one of the places you definitely want to check out. And I'd also like to thank McNeely Beer. That's McNeelyBeer.com. They've got featuring beers from around the globe. And you can get more information at McNeelyBeer.com. As I said, I've got The Sky Catching Fire. The band, The Sky Catching Fire. The sky is not catching fire as we're speaking, but that could happen. You never know. On the line here, Thomas and Steve. They are a really very unique sounding band from Southern California, Orange County area. Hey, Thomas, Steve, welcome to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. How are you?
Hey, good, Lou.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. How did you guys get together? How did the band get started?
Well, basically.
Wait a minute. Just say who you are when you start.
Oh, this is Thomas.
This is Thomas. Okay, go ahead, Thomas. Go ahead, buddy.
The band got started. Well, basically, I spent a lot of time busking, playing as a street musician in Laguna Beach when I was out of work, and I started recording some songs on my laptop and throwing them up on Reverb Nation, and then I put an ad out on Craigslist and met Steve through Craigslist, and we got together and practiced and learned the songs, and then we started playing shows.
That Craigslist, huh? That's where everything happens, right?
Yeah.
You guys lucked out because there's a lot of wacky stuff on Craigslist. Thomas, when you were doing this, when you were hanging out, busking and everything, like, how did you feel? I mean, did you have a vision at that time about what you wanted to do with your music?
Well, I had come off of a band that had toured the country and been on K-Rock, the big rock station out here, and done pretty well. We were on a lot of college stations and things, but when we came back from the tour, the band kind of broke up. And I decided, well, I've never had the control to just record my own music before. I've had to rely on everyone else. So that's when I went and bought Pro Tools. And that was the first concept of it. It was just like, well, I've got all these songs and they have to go somewhere.
Right.
So, but it wasn't until really that I played with Steve, and it just happened that I had linked up with a family of musicians in Orange County called Orange County Music League, and they were booking a lot of different venues, and their whole philosophy is no pay to play. They are trying to build a strong, authentic music community, and I had a song called War. This is kind of a protest song that they really loved, so they kept having me play shows by myself. And when I met Steve, I was like, hey, you know what, this could really work. Steve's drumming is really creative and awesome, and so that's really when it came together.
Steve, what drew you into the project? I mean, was it Thomas's songs, and what did you like about it? What got you interested?
Yeah, well, this is Steve here. So I was kind of, finishing up a little projecting, and so I was, like Thomas said, I was searching on Craigslist, and I had, kind of been looking for, a singer-songwriter, and when I saw the ad, so I started searching Thomas, started YouTubing him and everything, and then I started listening to, some of the material, and golly, man, it took me like about 5 seconds, and I kind of looked, I looked over at my wife, I had my headphones on, she's probably looking at me like, what are you looking at me for, And I was like thinking, dang, this guy's really good, he's really creative, So I thought, I think I'll call him in the morning, and I thought, well, shoot, I'm going to call and I'll go to an audition, and there'll be like 10 drummers, and after learning all the material, I probably won't get it, So I call, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I go like, hey man, I'm calling about the ad, and I go to, has anybody else called? He's like, no, you're the first one that's called, So I'm like, really? I'm like, wow, okay, great, man. I go, well, hey, let's I'd like to try out audition, And he's like, awesome, well, let's get together on Saturday. And I'm like, great, So yeah, so no, that was pretty much it, And I think we clicked pretty good the first time, and then from there, that was pretty much it. But it didn't take long to put one and one together. That he was real creative.
While we're talking to you, Steve, why don't you go ahead and tell us what made you go back in time, and what made you want to play the drums? What inspired you to sit down behind the drum set and start being a drummer?
Oh, well, I think it was just, like everybody likes music, right? Well, most people do anyway. And it was just a passion and the obsession of music, But as far as instruments go, I think that was a natural thing for me, was the drums. Guitar wasn't really, my fingers and stuff like that wasn't as coordinated. But to me, drums were pretty natural to me. So it started at a young age. And it just kept going on playing. So
who are your heroes on the drums?
Like people like all kinds of different music. Everybody likes a whole spectrum of music. But
right.
There's many out there that you don't know of. That are fantastic musicians, professional drummers. But I like Simon Phillips, Rod Morgenstein, Stuart Copeland, James Bradley Jr., he's a drummer from Chuck Mangione. So, I mean, there's so many that, there's tons. You just learn from all of them in little pieces and styles and techniques and approach to songs and how they, apply their drums to the certain, the voice or the guitar or the bass. So, but yeah, those guys I really admire. So.
Thomas, what about your songwriting? How did you get interested in songwriting, or did you was that how you started on the with music? Did you start out wanting to write songs, or did you start out more as a guitarist, or how did it start for you?
Well, it's really all my father's fault. When I was 5 years old, when I was 5, he put a microphone in my hand, and he put on the Beatles record, and he made me sing along and learn all the words. So he had me singing, learning Beatles songs when I was really young. And then in elementary school, he bought me a keyboard, synthesizer, the old kind of Casio, and those things. And he kept buying me these synthesizers, and he bought me a guitar. And my family had already always been in music, but my uncle Paul Rossi used to play with the Tommy Dorsey band, and his son, my cousin Mick Rossi, is a fantastic jazz pianist. He plays in New York all the time. He has a thing called Outlier Series, and he also tours and records with Paul Simon, and he's been touring with Paul Simon and Sting, and he plays with his good friend Philip Glass. So it's a very musical family. So we always had instruments kind of in the house, and it was really my brother got a bass. My brother's 5 years older than me. He got a bass, and that made me want to pick up the guitar because I saw him doing it, and I wanted to be cool too.
Cool. Well, I hear a little. I hear some John Lennon-esque kind of sounds in your songwriting. Who are your songwriting influences?
Oh, John Lennon definitely is one of my very favorite writers. His album right after the Beatles is, to me, it's the best singer-songwriter album ever made lyrically, and just the whole picture of it is just beautiful. The Plastic Ono Band album, just fantastic. And John Lennon, and then when I was in 7th grade, my dad sat me down in front of the record player with Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Put the record on, and he said, I want you to sit here and read all these words. This guy is really out there, and I want you to understand this. So David Bowie, you know, and my favorite band in high school, and probably still to this day, is the Pixies. Just very creative. Stylistically, they could do all kinds of different things, but they always sounded like the Pixies, you know, and they're definitely a huge influence.
So what is the significance of the band name, The Sky Catching Fire?
Well, like I said, I started recording some songs on my laptop, and I had to give it a title. And at the time, in California, we get a lot of wildfires. Mm-hmm. And at the time I started recording, and I needed to come up with a name for the project, there was all these fires everywhere. And the sky was just, like, lit up. And there were some really raging fires. So that's how I came up with it.
Are you guys involved with a record label, or are you guys totally independent?
No, we're not involved with any record label.
Are you, like, hoping to get some label, attract a record label, or do you guys prefer, you know, are you guys hardcore, do it on your own kind of guys?
Well, working with a record label could be nice, you know, having the money and the press and the money for touring and all that. But there's definitely no way that, you know, I don't really want to compromise my writing style. I don't want songwriters telling me what to write or put more hooks in it or blah, 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 you know. I really believe in the integrity of songwriting, and I really think that the reason for the decline in music sales, steady decline, has been just the homogeny of using the same 5 producers, the same 5 songwriters, whether it's the pop, the rap, or the country artists. And as a songwriter who's been writing songs since I was 12, I can flip over the dial from the pop station to the rap station to the country station. I'll hear certain songwriters. I'm like, I know that that's the same songwriter as Taylor Swift song, who wrote this country one, or who wrote this pop one, or even the hip-hop ones. I'm like, I hear that producer, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I'm open to the idea, but definitely want to write authentic songs.
If you could work, Thomas, since we're talking, we'll start with you, then we'll go over to Steve. If you could work, write, play with any musician, living or dead, who would it be?
Franz Ferdinand.
Okay. All right.
I love those guys.
What about you, Steve?
You know, I thought David Bowie was a pretty creative guy. You know, he man, you know, I just saw him do so many different things that would, and you know, he spent the time in the studio, and that was just one guy, you know, just one individual. I mean, Paul McCartney would be awesome too. Yeah, when he went to the Wings, he did his own thing, and he just I'd be curious just to see how they think, you know, just how they approach and how they put everything together. Okay, this is what I'm thinking, and then obviously they have a lot of, you know, available assets. You know, they have a lot of connections to just you know, strings or brass, organ. It's interesting. I'd be curious to see how those guys think and give out instructions and how they want you to do certain things, or how much flexibility they give you. You know, those guys would be interesting. Yeah.
So you guys have your record. Probably when this airs, it'll probably be out. But it's you have an EP. So this is your debut. What's it called?
Blue.
Okay. Now tell us about Blue. Who played on it? Where did you record? Who produced it with you?
Mm-hmm. Well,
anybody jump in.
All right. Well, this is Thomas. My friend Elliot Koenig, who has a recording studio in Orange, California, called Fear No Evil Studio, he just sent me a message, and he was like, "Hey, I had a band cancel, and they forfeited their deposit they put down, so you guys can come in and record 12 hours recording time, Saturday and Sunday. I think, what was it, Steve, like $400 total?"
Yeah, something like that. It was like, $400, something like that.
So it was an amazing deal. And then he had just built an isolation booth for the vocals, which allowed us to go in and play live and record it live. So we just went in, we did 3 takes of each song, and Elliot is a brilliant engineer, and it just sounded great with just drums and guitar and vocals. So we just really didn't touch it much at all. We didn't really do anything, just played it, and it was really fun. It's a good experience.
So it's just the two of you guys. You haven't any go back and overdub anything, or
nope,
no? Oh wow,
no, nothing.
Because I swear I hear bass guitar on it, but that just must be how good it is.
Yeah, well, Elliot actually, he looked at us and he's like, "Do you want to overdub bass?" And I was like, "I don't know, sounds pretty good." He said, "I have EQ'd the drums to bring the bass out a little more, and the drums, and I think it sounds fine without bass." And we agreed, so no overdubs.
What are the challenges? I mean, because you're seeing, the first band that kind of like popularized that was was the White Stripes. What are the sort of challenges and advantages of working this way with just the guitar, with the vocals, and the drums?
Well, this is Thomas. The advantage is that Steve and I, we just have to get along with each other. We're both pretty mellow, so never had a fight or an argument about anything, and that's the advantage. The disadvantage is, can't really play like solos or anything like that. But it's okay, and it's been received really well because like we have some songs that are, obviously we're acoustic driven, but we have some like kind of punk styled songs, and it's cool. It's allowing us to, like I was saying about the Pixies, we can explore any kind of song we want. We put any kind of beat in it, any kind of vocal in it, and it works, and it still sounds like us. So I guess that's the best advantage.
You want to say something about that, Steve?
Yeah, it's I'm working on a new song right now, and it's interesting because if there was a bass player, it would be more filling, more full. There'd be an appealing element, of course, but it might influence my drumming. It would probably might change a little bit. I might change a little bit. I might change. Yeah. So I'm working on a tune now, and I'm like going, well, I must have did like a half a dozen beats, to the intro, and I was just like, and I threw all that stuff out, and I just kept it simple. Now, if there was a bass there, I might have changed it, but Thomas plays with a lot of feel. I mean, it's in his strumming, it's in his voice, and it's like, wow, I can emphasize punches in his voice and his strumming, or I can play the lows on the toms. So it is unique. It is unique for just two people to go out and just do something different, because I could actually like just do like beats that everybody's doing to something, but why not listen and focus on something different in his vocals or his lyrics and highs and lows and his voice and his strumming, and kind of like approach it a little differently and just do something different instead of what everybody else is doing. So
you think you can give more dynamics where you can complement him more like in the moment, without there being a bass player involved?
Well, I mean, I'm just, if there was a bass player, it might change stuff. And, but yeah, I mean, it will change stuff, but I mean, it would be for good things, but it's interesting to do something where you don't have a bass, because you don't do it often,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever played without I played without bass players, with guitar players many times, but when you go out live and you're doing it live, you don't really, I don't think people really miss it, I don't think.
So speaking of the live, what can people expect from your live shows, guys?
Our live shows have been really well received. Everybody digs it. I don't know if it's because it's, different, but, we put a lot of energy in it, a lot of heart. I usually read at least one poem. I run a poetry reading every week. So, I'm really into writing, and I hope that's reflected in the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And, they can expect, sincere storytelling and high energy. And, Steve's been doing a great job creatively with the drums. It's been fantastic. He really works on his parts and tries to keep everything really interesting. So it's cool. I definitely kind of feel that kind of Stuart Copeland or even kind of John Densmore kind of thing going on with the accents and things like that.
Do you guys usually play then with other acts, or you got doing like your own shows by yourselves, or how's that? What do you guys usually do?
Yeah, well, being part of Orange County Music League, they book all our shows, and we're always on the bill with 4 or 5 other bands usually.
What's the so you guys play mostly around the Orange County area? Is that where you play mostly?
Yes.
What's the scene like?
It's really all over the board. I mean, there's Orange County punk bands, there's alt rock bands, there's metal bands. That's a lot of cool songwriters and stuff. I've seen a lot of great bands over the last year or so in the scene. Unfortunately, a lot of them end up breaking up, But there's some really, really, really good ones. Some really great singer-songwriters we play with sometimes, too. Chad Martini, John Ogden are 2 really great singer-songwriters. The Alienated is a great local Orange County punk band. So it's really fun.
Cool. So it sounds like a great scene. Sounds like there's a lot of different, there's like a little bit like a variety of different performers out there doing some very cool stuff. So what's coming? So you got the record. It's like I said, probably by the time this airs, it'll probably be out because what's coming out? What, February 6th or something?
Yeah, February 5th.
February 5th. Okay. And so what's the plan for the next 6 to 12 months? What are you guys going to be doing?
Well, we have a company called Cyber PR handling our press. Ariel Hyatt. I've been a fan of hers for a long time, watching her YouTube, how to do it videos, how to market your band, things she do to build relationships. And so we felt really good about going with them for our press. So they're working on, interviews and reviews for the album. We're also going to be doing a college radio campaign, mailing out CDs to different stations and trying to do interviews and stuff. And Orange County Music League wants to get us doing a West Coast tour, possibly in around May or June or something, go up the coast, maybe all the way up to Seattle. So that's the plan for the next 4 or 5 months.
Okay. All right. But you're always writing, so we could probably, we're probably going to expect another record from you and probably in not long after that, in probably about a year or so.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I could tell by the way you're talking about how passionate you are about songs and songwriting. Both you guys, actually, that you have a lot more in you. So why an EP and not a full length? Just curious, or is that just all the studio time you had?
Yeah, it was just a great opportunity for the studio time that was offered. So we were like 5 songs would be doable in that time. And in fact, we. Like I said, we did 3 takes per song. We had it all done in, I'd say, 4 hours. It was wrapped on the first day, so the rest of the time was just mixing.
Cool. Oh, excellent. Why don't you go ahead then and tell everybody out there how people can catch up with you on the internet and find you and all that good stuff.
Well, they can find us on SoundCloud as of February 5. We'll be on iTunes and Spotify and all the usual suspects of digital music selling. We have our Facebook page, and that's probably the most up-to-date, and also on Twitter.
The Sky Catching Fire. If you guys Google that, the Sky Catching Fire band, you get like every one of their links, their Reverb Nation and everything. Because Steve, is there anything you want to add, buddy?
No, I think we're good. No, it's been a pleasure, Pittsburgh, what's the temperature over there in Pittsburgh?
Oh, it's a chilly, like 30-something. What about you guys? It's like about 80 over there?
Man, we're getting there. It's like in the 70s now. But
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. You suck. I'm just kidding. It's really good talking to you guys. I will, thanks, guys, so much, and we will go ahead. I do a music cast once a week, so we'll definitely get something from you guys on there. We've got all 5 tunes, so we can get them on Reverb Nation. We'll let you guys know. We'll stay in touch with you on that, and hope to be hearing more from you guys soon.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks, Liz.
Hey, you guys have a great day. Stay. I was gonna say stay warm, but that's for you.
Stay cool.
We're gonna stay cool.
Thanks a lot, Liz.
Guys, take care now.
All right. See ya. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Hey, everyone. You guys have been listening to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Just talked to the Sky Catching Fire. And as they stated, you can find them at SoundCloud.com, The Sky Catching Fire, ReverbNation.com, The Sky Catching Fire. And you definitely want to check out everything that's going on. One more time, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Positively Pittsburgh Live Magazine. That's pplmag.com. And for those of you in the Pittsburgh area, please patronize McNeely Beer. You can go to McNeelyBeer.com. They carry a lot of microbrews and stuff like that from like really all around the world. It's a very cool place. And if the number, if you are in the Pittsburgh area, is 412-563-2337. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Once again, you were listening to The Sky Catching Fire. You're on the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. That is LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com for all your Loudini needs. If you love music like this, you love these interviews, you're interested in independent rock, please support us. Please buy any merchandise we have, and please support these bands. LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com, and we will catch you guys on the next podcast.